Early morning video. I didn't plan this one at all. It's a follow-up to the one I posted yesterday, though, the Enuma Elish Tablet 4 interpretation. Went through it, and there was things in there that were left unidentified, even though we have the big overall flow. But there was a couple of things in there that I mentioned that I want to talk about more today because I've now identified them. Between yesterday and today, I didn't know, but today I wake up and it's like, oh, I got it. It works that way. Okay, so let's talk about those. There's two of them. One of them is the transition from Marduk to Lord. Marduk to Lord. There's something happening there, you and Lord. There's a name advancement happening. And there's another spot where there was a repeat of something. And this got my attention because I repeat things whenever I want them to be emphasized. I repeat things whenever I want them to be emphasized. And I think a lot of people do that, and they do that in here too. They repeat something when they want to emphasize it. Sometimes it's not easy to see the repeat. Sometimes the repeat means cyclical. And in this case, there's a different kind of a repeat that's happening. In this case, when he was building the weapons and getting ready to go to war, one of the things was, and he created the four winds: the north wind, the south wind, the west wind, the east wind. That's a repeat right there. Created the four winds, that's enough. Why did you go on and say that again? I created the four winds, created the four winds. That's getting my attention. What is that doing? What is that doing? And I don't quite understand, but I look at all the other material and I'm aware of other stuff and I begin to realize what they're doing. Wind is an analog. It doesn't belong in the mind. It still needs to be interpreted. When we say things like that, it stays kind of airy, fairy, You must heal yourself. Oh, that's wonderful. How? You have issues inside of you that you must resolve. Yeah, okay. How? How? There's got to be interactive. You must use the winds to wipe out your past. Well, that sounds fun. How does it work? How do you interact with that? You can't. It's not, the wind is an analog. It's holding something different. All right, now what I want to do is talk about other material and healing. And a lot of religious material exists the idea of taking stuff from the darkness and putting it into the light. And what this boils down to in this path and what we're doing in for healing is that we take the stuff that hurts us that we don't want to deal with, we've hid it away, and we stop hiding it away. We start emerging it. We go look at the things that we don't want to look at, which is a switch in mental. I mean, we have to get to a mental place to get there. Most people don't want to look at that. That's how we get messed up. And we don't want to deal with it. And as life goes on, it compounds. It gets worse and worse and worse until we can finally stop and interact with that. And that's what we have to do. And bringing it into the light means looking at it, emerging it, seeing it for what it is, not letting it be hidden away. At some point, this pain and this shame that you hold on to, that you deny, is acting out and hurting you. And as long as you deny it, it's going to keep doing it. You have to go back and make friends with that situation until the emotional charge of it has changed. And we know that that is what's happening. And here with the winds, the four winds, I think that is what they're doing, because they're not illuminating other things here, but this is a tool they're using to go in. And if we look at it the same way, what we're doing is the wind becomes something you look with, a vision. We're looking in the psyche, we're using analogs, something like covering yourself or stripping garments off are analogous to hiding something inside of you, or not hiding it, letting it out, being open about it. Consuming means learning, good or bad. What are you consuming? Dainty meats or good stuff? Drinking wine, changing the way you feel, fasting, disconnecting from all the stuff, letting go of things. When we transition those analogs, they mean something. The wind is going to be the same way. We can't leave the wind in that story and say that's just a cool thing. It means something. And the doubling up on it is getting our attention. Sometimes that look like clunky errors in the old material that are getting our attention. They mean something. It's not an accident. I'm finding it's not an accident. And you look at everything from all different perspectives. The four winds are illuminating instead of light, bringing it out and opening it. You're looking at it in all the different possible ways. You're looking at it from every possible angle. You are a victim. That's how you look at it to begin with. And that's why we're hurt, because we look at it in one way. I'm a victim. Now we need to look at it in other ways. Now come at it and say, well, Why are you a victim? Why did this happen? What happened to that person? What kind of a sequence is there? Is there a mass of people? If you can get outside of yourself and your own thinking and observe what happened, put yourself in somebody else's position, use your higher being to observe it from outside, that all of those things that we hide, they begin to lose their charge. Not instantly, but they will begin to diminish. The more we look at things that we're afraid of, we adjust, right? We get used to it. And when we don't want to look at them, we don't get used to it. We have to look at them to get used to it. Hitting it with the four winds is exposing it from all sides, looking at it until it really opens up. Then the other one, the transition Lord Marduk, what I'm going to suggest there is that this is a deeper layer of, like in Buddhism, for example, we start off as Siddhartha Gautama. We start off as ourself in the palace. We're going to grow up through there. We leave that behind, but we become enlightened and we become the Buddha. So you go from Siddhartha to the Buddha nature. Buddha nature, it just means enlightened, the enlightened one. You have rid yourself of things. The way these stories are structured, that they all come to that same sort of a way. This is the tough one. Christianity, you're Jesus, you're looking for the Christ nature. Ooh, suddenly people don't like that one because it comes with some sort of commitment baggage for an afterlife. And they don't like to touch that one. But if you realize that's what they're doing, that's what they're doing. Here we've got Marduk being Lord. Marduk is going to be the one that is going to be in charge. This is setting up that this is who is going to be running your life from now on. You are going to become the Marduk that is not all of those other things. Okay, I wanted to pass that along. I didn't get set up much this morning or anything. I'm bleary-eyed. But that just hit me, and I was like, yeah, that's it. Before I move on to the next one, I wanted to cover that and put that out. So have fun with it. Love one another. I'll see you in the next one. I forgot to mention, this video is demonstrating the reverse engineering structuring of the story mentally in action. It's not supernatural, but it gets us someplace.